Hey, what's up, everybody? You are watching a brand new episode of Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks with me, your hero, Benjamin Banks. And this is our YouTube video slash podcast episode that you are listening to and watching. And on today's episode, we have Mr. Danny Kramer with us. How are you doing today, Danny?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I'm glad that Trav slid in your DMs and he found you in social media land.
That's right.
Yep. Absolutely.
You know, it's like Trav, he's taking my advice because that's one thing that I always say, just slide in the DMs, and everybody's DMs that he's been sliding in, he's been pretty successful so far. So pinky's up to you, Trav.
Man, thank you.
Very nice.
So to everybody that's watching this interview, please make sure that you like this video, you leave a comment, you subscribe, and you hit that bell button so that way you're always notified when we have a new video up. And let's go ahead and get into today's episode with Mr. Danny Kramer. So, Danny, tell us your origin story. Who are you?
Origin story.
Yes, sir.
Goodness. Well, a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Yes.
I was a young kid, just doing his thing, going to school and everything. I went to college, Manhattanville College in Purchase. I went there initially to study like science and medicine, but I wasn't really feeling that, so I started studying film and television, and I really enjoyed editing the most, but I enjoyed like directing and shooting and all that. So eventually, I graduated college, got some internships with different places to do production, mostly editing and some production work too. And then I started working with this company called I Imagine. It was a really great company. My mom had actually worked with them in the 80s, so
Nice.
I had a connection there, right? So I was on set doing just grip work basically, and it was for like this industrial video for this client, and they had a studio for us to do the audio, the post production for the voiceover, and the talent didn't show up, and so the producer and the client were like, "Well, Danny, you have a nice voice, right?" And I forgot to mention throughout school. Grade school, middle school, high school, and college, I studied acting, and I just did it for fun, and I would be in student plays and all that. So they were like, "You got a bit of an acting background, and you got a nice voice. Why don't you do a script for this?" And I'm like, "I'm not really a voice actor." And they're like, "Here's the script. Get in the booth. You got this." So I'm like, "Okay, all right." So I did it. They liked it. They came back and had me do other stuff. Other friends and associates I had asked me to do voiceover stuff for them. And eventually it just was like an audio engineer named Terry Fabrizio. He's a good buddy of mine. He's like, "Why don't you like go to like an acting school and make this like a thing? Like go study voice acting." I'm like, "Okay." So I went to Actors Connection in Manhattan. I took classes with Paul Liberti and eventually Darren Dunstan. In my classes with Darren Dunstan, we got to know each other, and he liked my stuff. He eventually sent me auditions for Yugioh. One of them was for the Shepard right there on your screen, and I landed that, and I was like, "What?" And he was like, "Yep." I'm like, "All right." But this was after studying voice acting for like 4 or 5 years, so this didn't happen instantaneously. Right. I skipped a few years, but yeah, and then I started doing Yu-Gi-Oh, and then after a while, I started meeting like Yu-Gi-Oh, what would you call them, alumni? Dan Green, Erica Schroeder, and all of them, and they introduced me to Lisa Ortiz, and I took classes with her, Erica Schroeder, Jennifer Suckup. And eventually, in getting to know Lisa better, she eventually sent me an audition for Raihan and Raihan, excuse me. And and I landed that, and I just again was like, "What?" So that's been my journey that I can talk about so far. So that's that.
That's crazy.
That's a really nice.
Congratulations.
Story.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, it's I feel blessed, very, very blessed and fortunate. So
So pretty much, you had the Tyrese effect, where it's like, you were at the right place at the right time, and
it seems like that.
And it's just like, that's what happened. Like that's what always happens in life. It's just like, sometimes you're at the right place at the right time, and it's kind of like with D and Trav. It's like I needed 2 people to join me on my podcast adventure.
Is that how the story went?
Yeah, right, Trav.
It's
more like Trav was like, "I need some backup." D, how do you feel? That's how I went.
Nah, it's like, I was doing the podcast. I was doing it by myself, like Batman, year one, and brought Trav along. Trav was my Robin, and then we got D. D's our Batgirl. So
come on.
This guy.
He's trolling.
Look, you know what it is? He's upset
trolling.
because he got the inside smudge.
Yeah, he's looking at
You know
that
what it
smudge.
He's taking that out on taking that out on us. You need to keep that energy in the room, sir.
Get that smudge out of your eye.
I just don't like y'all's energy and like the way y'all coming at me. It's like I've been treating y'all good. I've been feeding y'all. I've been giving y'all waters. It's like we're taking real care of y'all, man. It's just like,
why did you let me join this? This is just absurd today.
This man's never given me a water.
Hey, look,
Ever.
hey, for real. I'm on low sleep time. I didn't go to sleep until 5 a.m. yesterday.
Oh, and here we go with the complaining. There we go. Nah, don't give in to this man, bro.
Yeah. Don't buy his story and lie.
I was just gonna compliment you for your stamina.
Thank you. Hey, that's what I love about bringing guests onto the podcast, because it's like when we do this, it's like they always say good stuff about me. Usually, I'm dealing with like these two guys. Like I'm sure you watch the Muppets when you were younger, and the two grumpy old men. That's who they are.
I was thinking we were Bernie and or Ernie. And
that's Sesame Street. That's what I'm saying. Y'all can't even get the characters right.
What's wrong? Look, we didn't smudge your camera. If you bring it over tomorrow, I'll see what I can do.
Like that's what I like. Like that's the only thing that y'all can point out is the smudge. But y'all,
it's enough.
Y'all have both been inconsistent.
That's because
hold on, Rondell. Hold on, I'm talking.
We fixed the other issue.
I'm talking.
Glare?
First, you got Trav sitting here talking about Billy went to high school with him, and then you got D talking about the smudge and getting Bert and Ernie mixed up with Muppets characters.
That's
so y'all
pretty
just
close.
Chill.
It's pretty close.
No, they're not.
Do you feel better now?
So what are you saying
that
are you saying that all puppets look alike? Is that what you're saying?
Well, maybe we could talk about that when we're not recording, but maybe.
Okay. But anyway, Danny, I'm sorry about that. Sometimes we snowball up here.
Family affairs,
man. I've seen episodes of your show. I did my research.
Oh,
thank you. Which one did you check out?
I checked out the one, oh gosh, I forget his name, but he's been on all like the Disney cartoons. He was Snapper Carlton on Justice
Jason
League.
Marsden.
Yes, thank you. Yes. I'm sorry, that's the one I know him for. But yeah, that was a really great episode. It's fantastic.
Hey, it's all about sliding in the DMs, man.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
Mm-hmm.
The boy was there with that smile on his face.
I was happy
and a twinkle in his eye.
I wish that we had the video for that episode, because Trav was grinning the entire time.
The whole time.
He looked like a kid on Christmas Day.
Mm-hmm.
And
then Jason Marsden, he was like, Trav, sing the song with me.
Yeah, he tried to get him to sing with him. But yeah, so Danny, like getting in back to the origin story part, like what were some of your favorite animes or cartoons that you watched growing up?
Some of my favorites growing up were definitely the original Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh. I mean, I have to give credit where credit's due right there, right? And hold on, I'm just bringing up my light a little bit so I'm not so dark in here.
There you are.
No, it's all right. If you want to do the Bruce Wayne, it's fine, bro.
Growing up,
I am the Batman. But speaking of Batman, probably one of the biggest ones I enjoyed the most was Batman the Animated Series.
Yes,
that was a huge influence on both like my interpretation of voice acting and just like cartoons and animation in general. Of course, I enjoyed all of the fun stuff, Tiny Toon Adventures and the original Looney Tunes, Scooby-Doo. So yeah, as I started getting older, it was funny. Like it took me a long time to really appreciate Cowboy Bebop. I loved it when I was like a little kid, but as I got older, as I swear each year I started to love it more and more, and it's easily like my favorite anime ever. But
nice.
Up here for us,
the classic.
Right?
Classic.
Yeah.
Classic.
And my favorite shonen is definitely Bleach, and I know that's a controversial pick, but that's my favorite.
Hey, Trav, hey, Danny, it was nice having you up here, man.
Oh man, but the hate is real.
It makes sense though for that age bracket. The guys that came a little bit after us.
Mm-hmm.
Because we grew up, Toonami in the afternoon with the Dragon Ball Z. Yu Yu Hakusho, Cowboy.
Oh my god, I forgot to mention Dragon Ball and Yu Yu Hakusho.
Yeah,
love them.
Sailor Moon.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, for that next generation after us, Naruto, One Piece, Bleach, Death Note a little bit after that and stuff. Those were huge for those guys coming up.
Oh, yeah. So go back to the Pokemon, where if you saying that you enjoyed the original, did you continue watching the series as it kept going on, or like did you have a falling out with it?
I would say that I kept watching. I watched from the very beginning all the way through to when Ash defeated the Orange Island League. I loved that. I started watching Johto, and by that time, I just started like being interested in this and that, but I always loved the games, and I watched every single Pokemon movie that came out. So with the cartoon series, I just wasn't able to keep up as much as I liked because it was on Saturday mornings, and like anytime that it came on like Boomerang or something, I'd watch the reruns and I would enjoy it and stuff. I mostly kept up through seeing bits and pieces of reruns here and there for the 3rd and 4th and 5th gen anime. And then I started watching again for the 6th gen anime because I had heard it was just so much more action orientated and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, I got to see this. And I really enjoyed it. And then for the episodes in Alola, I hadn't gotten a chance to watch that too much because while that was airing, I was doing a lot of work where I was traveling around the country shooting commercials and stuff. So I just didn't have a whole lot of time. But when it came on Netflix, I watched all of them. So
there's a lot in that series. So
sure are. So I mean, so I always kept appraised of it and all that kind of stuff to stay up to date on kind of what was happening and all that, and I constantly played the games. I mean, right here I have every single Pokemon game. I just brought it with me because I figured it would come up eventually.
Trust me, it was.
But and then for Yu-Gi-Oh, I'm sorry you didn't ask about Yu-Gi-Oh, you just asked about Pokemon.
Oh no, I was gonna get there.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
you good. Hey, go ahead and take it away. You stay in the ship right now.
Okay. For Yu-Gi-Oh, oh my god, it was so funny. I think it was my dad. He had seen a magazine article. This was after Pokemon was out and super popular and everything. It must have been in like early 2001. This magazine article that talked about this big new popular brand coming from Japan and that it could rival Pokemon in popularity. And it's like, what is this? And I think it had a picture of the Dark Magician next to it. And I'm like, okay. But I remember Kids be showing the promos for it. I'm like, this is so interesting. I'll check it out. And I just was hooked from the first episode. I watched everything from the very beginning all the way to the end of 5Ds.
Yeah, same here. That was my journey.
And by the time 5Ds had ended, I was going into college. So basically, or I was already in college. And basically, I just was like, I couldn't keep up with it. But I saw Zexal and I was like, oh, this is pretty good, But I couldn't keep up with watching the new episodes. And it wasn't until I was taking Darren's classes that I started really kind of checking out. And by that point, they were ending Arc 5 and they were going into the first season of Vrains. And I was like, oh my God, Vrains is totally my thing. And yeah, I thought it was really cool. And then I get an audition for one of the villains on Vrains. And I'm like, okay, awesome. So yeah. I never got a chance to watch Zexal in Arc 5, but what I did is that I played Legacy of the Duelist for the Switch.
You're right.
And I was able to kind of get an idea of what happened in the stories and all that kind of stuff. And interesting stuff. Really, really cool stuff they had going on there. I'd love to check out those episodes someday, but when I get some time. But yeah, so.
Hey, Daddy, I gotta say, man, I appreciate you bringing up all of your tools with you. You're always prepared because you never know. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody
Batman got the utility belt.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, bro, somebody could roll up in the studio on them right now, and they'd be like, "Hey, let's duel." You know what I'm saying? So it's just, you just never know. But hey, D, I'll go ahead and let you ask the next question.
Oh, really quick. Wait, I'm so sorry. Really quick to the.
Yep. You're good. You're good.
To the dueling point, I have my deck here.
That's
like,
right.
Just in case,
hey, don't make me grab mine out the closet. Right?
I don't want to get sent to the shadow realm.
I got mine in the living room. So. Hey, be careful. I got my deck in the living room on my shelf. Hey.
I'm so sorry, Derek. Please go ahead.
Oh, no worries, man. First and foremost, I wanted to say thanks for coming on with us.
My pleasure.
And you touched on one of, I'm sure it's all of our favorites, Cowboy Bebop. Did you have a favorite character in that show? Villain or hero, doesn't matter.
My favorite.
Who did you said that your opinion of it kind of evolved over time.
Mhm.
And did your favorite hero change or favorite character? I'll say none of them are really heroes. Did you have a favorite character?
Yes, when I was younger, my favorite character was Ed. And right. And I loved everything with her and the dog and everything. I'd say by the time I hit my late teens, Spike became my favorite character. I love him so much.
Okay.
But in recent rewatches,
Yep.
Jet is becoming my favorite character. But I still love both Ed and Spike, but it's just that it's like, I don't know, like it's just every time I rewatch it, I see something new. You know, I always do.
That's
So
I think that's what's fun about my question is they're all likable to some degree, and it's a very fun cast. And my second question for you is Bleach. You said it's your favorite. Who is your guy? Renji.
who is my guy?
It's like this dude's telling you who to say.
Hey, we just said
Reggie.
it, bro.
Hey, I just slid the ballot in there. Reggie. It's already picked. Who you got?
It's so cliche.
Give me two.
I'll give you two. Okay.
Yep,
that's
give me
great.
two. I'll give you two.
My two
I hope you
favorite
say
are
Byakuya.
Ichigo
Mm-hmm.
and Rukia.
Rukia,
Okay, now
But I don't ship them. Don't worry.
see that's exactly what I was about to ask you.
Uh-huh.
That's exactly what I was about to ask you because you know that there were a lot of fans that were pissed off when they found out that they ended up just being friends and not being a couple. So
The spoilers, of course. But
I actually thought it was kind of original.
yeah. Well, I really like that. I mean, I love that.
I love it too.
At the end, I mean, Ichigo was spoilers with Orihime with a kid, and Renji and Rukia have a kid, but they're like all best friends. They're like extended family. I love that.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
Reggie should have got the girl, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Reggie
no,
was
he
taken.
went through.
Reggie went through hell to get her.
Yeah.
okay, so I got a question for you to piggyback off of what D just asked you about Bleach. How did you feel about the Bleach live action movie?
Oh, good.
Okay. I actually when I first heard about it and I heard that it was going to adapt like the substitute arc, I'm like, okay, there's no way they can leave this movie without it ending on a cliffhanger. Like it doesn't make any sense. Like how exactly is this going to be? But when I saw it, and I watched it with the English dub because I mean that's just what I did. But I really liked it. I honestly really did. I know that there are people that had problems with this or that about it, but I felt like the way they portrayed the Hollows was really excellent. I liked that they made them like really scary, like that's what they're supposed to be. Yeah. Because in later Bleach episodes they become very not scary, and it can't be helped because they're fighting basically gods by the end of Bleach. But yeah, no, I liked it, and I liked the way they handled Ichigo a lot. I definitely thought it was interesting that they made Orihime a bit more of a serious character than she originally was. Like, that was interesting to me. But I thought they handled Ichigo and Rukia, like, really well. And Chad, too. So,
yeah.
Chad. My man, Chad.
Yeah.
I do want to expand on that a little bit because you know what I've noticed? And again, for me, being a music engineer, I absorb music differently than people that just listen to music. So like they'll of course Banks ain't really on that mumble rap as
I knew you was gonna mention me, man.
But when I listen to it, I'm hearing different elements that maybe Banks isn't really listening for. I've noticed when we ask these questions, the people that are in that field, they don't hate it as strongly as a normal consumer. And I think that's because, you're in the field and you can pick it apart and understand and appreciate some of the certain things they do versus just regular guys like us who are just watching it.
I'm so sorry.
No. Go ahead, Danny. Go ahead.
I mean, the thing about it is that I even from the beginning, like I had always kind of like imagined like what would it be like if they were to turn Bleach into a live action movie, because it's like it's almost right for that, because it's a little bit more down to earth with like the action and the characters than like other shonen are. It's way easier than like Dragon Ball.
Well, because they were successful in doing the Ryu Kenshin.
Exactly. So it's like just kind of do something like do something kind of like that. So I thought it handled itself really well, and I was actually even like surprised at the scale of the final battle. I was like, oh, because I thought they would just keep it super simple, but they went places with that, and they sort of merged Ichigo's confrontation with Renji and Byakuya and the Soul Society a little bit with the confrontation there. So it'd be interesting to see what they would do if they do a part 2 or whatever. But yeah, no, so technically I just was really impressed with it. So I just was like, oh, this is good. I like it. So
I want to say that I think that this was the first movie, because I remember I was watching it and I had hit Trav up and I was just like, bro, like I'm not feeling it. And like I'm the type of person that's like, you know, every time
everything.
I like everything. You know what I'm saying? So for me to say I'm not a fan of it, because it's like Bleach, it is something that I watched when I was younger, but I grew out of it. So when this movie came out, you know, I was looking forward to it. And then when I saw that they had merged certain elements together, I just feel like it didn't flow as well. Now, some movies you can get away with that stuff, like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, the Diamond is Unbreakable movie. I don't know if you've seen that movie or if you're a JoJo fan.
I sure am. Oh yeah, I just haven't seen the Diamond is Unbreakable movie, but yeah,
hey, you're not missing nothing.
Shut up! Shut up! I
saw that coming.
But anyway,
but let me tell you my favorite Bleach movie, because live action movie, like I like it, but it's not my favorite. My favorite, unquestionably, is Memories of Nobody.
That's my favorite too. That was the first one I saw, man. Yeah. Really good movie.
I had a feeling that's where he was going with that.
Yes.
It was
my favorite's the fourth one. So
that ending, when spoiler alert, when it was like he forgot who the girl was, and then he ended up catching the ribbon. Like I have that song on my anime playlist. And what's crazy about that song, like you can't find it anywhere on YouTube. Like if you look it up, it's an edited version of the song. So thank God I downloaded it back in 2008 when the movie came out.
It is available on iTunes right now.
Oh, now okay, nice.
Yeah, all of Aqua Times, all of the songs they did for Bleach are on iTunes right this second, so you can But no man, that scene when he got Senna's ribbon and whether it was her or just his imagination,
I didn't know.
I teared up.
So
I was like,
that's the thing. I think Bleach is just okay as a series.
Yeah.
The movies, I think.
We're better.
Honestly, I think the Bleach movies are better than Dragon Ball Z movies.
I wouldn't take it that far, Ron.
Like honestly,
I can agree.
That's a big stretch.
Honestly,
I think I can agree with Trav.
I think the Bleach movies
if you're going
quality wise, man. All of them are 5-star, dude. The movies are better than the series, in my opinion, and they just do a fantastic job because they're non-canon. You know what I mean? It's just like a one-off thing.
Yeah.
Most of the Dragon Ball Z stuff is. Kind of missed me with it. You know I mean?
It's not. It's like it's all over the place. Like you don't know.
There's no bad Bleach movie.
Yeah,
all of them are great. All of them are great.
But, exactly, and I think I don't think he's necessarily taking digs.
Yeah, I'm not taking a dig. I'm just saying.
I know but we know what DBZ is trying to give us on the forefront. Every time it's kind of the same context. Every time,
from what I
doesn't really change much.
From what I recall, the Dragon Ball Z movies were produced to help sell the anime, as well as to give people a taste of what they were like at either movie theaters or like the Toei Animation Festival where they would show them off. And some movies had a bigger budget than others. So I think they wanted to do different things. So like the DBZ movies were just sort of like, let's give people a taste of this. That's why sometimes you'll have Dragon Ball movies that are like rip-offs of arcs from the actual show. I mean,
like
Tree of Might is basically the Saiyan invasion arc.
Right.
Super Android 13 is almost taking the events
of
but then sort of remixing a little bit, and then but I think Bleach was really helped by having this like ambitious kind of like, okay, we're gonna do something different with the movies, and probably the biggest one for that is movie 4.
That's my favorite.
I still haven't seen it.
I definitely recommend it because it's definitely much more dark and mature than anything else.
And the ending battle. The ending battle is so fire, dude.
Yeah,
is the fourth one? Is the fourth one? Is it Hellverse or something like that?
That's exactly right.
Yeah,
Hellverse.
I know it's on Netflix. I have it on my list.
Yeah. Danny.
I was
I
gonna
got
say
to,
it's on Netflix. Yeah.
Yeah, Danny, it's just to let you know that list is very, very, very,
Long.
very long.
Yeah.
Very late deal what this
Yeah,
man
right.
has not seen.
It's like a Santa wish list for Christmas. Just rolling, the scroll goes all the way out through the house and down out the front door. Yeah, it's like that.
Hey, look, man. Hey, I'm sorry that there are certain movies that
No, you just watch the same thing over and over. This man's seen My Hero Academia, the second Heroes Rising,
hold on real
90
quick.
times.
real talk,
else?
real talk. So yesterday was Elimination Chamber, right?
Right.
And after the pay-per-view, our former guests Dustin and Denise McClung, they stayed over my house and we were just watching stuff. And I was just like, hey guys, let's put on My Hero Academia Heroes Rising. And I watch it sub, so it's just like I'm sitting here just repeating lines from the movie. They're just like, how many times have you seen this movie?
Exactly.
I was just like, I think I've seen it over like 50 times now. like D, because like me and him, we talk almost every day. Like I always repeat lines from My Hero Academia because it's like it's something that I really love. If I really love something, that I'm gonna keep on watching it over and over and over again. I can't help it. Like that's just that.
If it had been out for 30 years, it's respectable, bro. It's been like 4 years.
It
Man.
doesn't matter. But I mean, but bro, like Danny, I don't know if you watch My Hero Academia, but
I do.
Okay, well, it's a very motivating and inspiring anime. So like that's why like I'm addicted to it. It's like anybody can relate to Deku when it comes to wanting to do something in life, and you were always told that you were too small or you were too big or you weren't the smartest, you weren't the strongest. And for him to always be told that he couldn't do something or he couldn't be a hero because he didn't have a quirk, and then he finally gets one, it's just like it's very admirable, and it's very motivating to see his journey and be able to relate with everything that he goes through, and not just Deku, but even the other students at the school, minus Koda. It's just it's a very.
I just not pick it up on the
Here we
Koda
go.
tab.
Yeah, I mean, what did Koda do to you? Like,
Look, man.
drag this man through the mud every chance you get.
Hey, look,
Every time.
hey, real talk. Like one of my friends on Facebook, like her dog's name is Koda. But when she was talking about the dog, I thought she was talking about Koda at first, and I'm just like,
talk about this poor girl's
yeah.
dog.
I started.
Did you take her off your friends list or something because her dog's name is Koda? Where you going with this?
I can't. Hey,
I know you did. He was teetering on the button.
But hey, before we move on, I wanted to go back to the JoJo thing real quick, where we were talking about the Bleach. Where we were talking about the Bleach movie. I don't want to spoil it for you because I do want you to see it, Danny. But there is something that happens in the movie which is similar to Bleach, where it's like they combine certain elements so that way that they can move the story along faster and more smoother. And it worked in the JoJo movie, but in the Bleach movie, I feel like it kind of didn't work. I know like they they combined the whole Grand Fisher thing with Renji and Byakuya meeting Ichigo, and then when they made it like a challenge, spoiler alert for those people that haven't seen this movie.
You're a little late.
But it's like
I ain't seeing it by now. You
okay.
It's like they made it a challenge. If he could beat Grand Fisher, then they would let Rukia stay. I'm just like, why would they do that? Like it's like my thing is like we know how much of a badass and how cold-blooded Byakuya is. So for him to be like, yeah, if you can do this, we'll let you off the hook. I'm just like,
it's not happening.
He would never do. Like, you saw what he did to Renji. Like
Renji was his boy. Renji was his day one, bro. Renji was his day one, and he did him like that. This dude's a savage.
But hey, Trav, go ahead and take it away with the next question, bro.
Hey, so yeah, I want to start cycling back to hitting this Yu-Gi-Oh. Now, see, again, we all grew up, on the original and stuff like that. And some of the series, as it progressed, I can openly say, like, yeah, I wasn't really feeling them. But the Vrains, so yeah, I'm gonna like pretty much fill in Banks and Deeks. I don't know if they've actually seen Vrains or exactly what it is.
No, I haven't watched it yet.
But pretty much, it's pretty much Yu-Gi-Oh and Sword Art having a baby.
That's a good.
Yeah.
So they're inside of the game.
Yeah, so they're in. Well, it's not a.
I can give them a really good.
Oh yeah,
I can give you a really good. Sort of. So basically, what happens in Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains, the premise of it is that this company called Soltech has created a cyberspace. Have you ever seen the movie Summer Wars?
No, I've never even heard of it.
Nah, I never heard of that.
Okay, well, you got to
Okay.
see it. Okay,
Okay.
but anyway, okay, so you've seen it, Derek. You know what I'm talking about?
No. I'm making note of it.
Okay, yeah, make a note of it. But and basically, Soltech created this entire network that's beyond the internet, where you put on a headset and you go into a virtual reality world, and everything from like your bank account to going to school to all of society revolves around the Vrains, and it's basically a neural network that takes people's thoughts and ideas and helps create this actual neural network internet kind of place. And inside of the Vrains, people can have duels because, of course, and
because of course it's Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, right. You know, and that's sort of the thing. But Soltech is a company that, not unlike Kaiba Corp, is there's some shady elements to it and stuff like that. And one of the main things of the plot is that there are these 6 AIs that they created, and they feel that if they could harness the power of these AIs that have free will and are trying to get away from Soltech, if they could harness these 6 AIs, they could take their network to the next level and like take over the world from a corporate standpoint. And then there's all these other factions of characters. You have the main character and his faction who are just interested in helping the main character figure out what happened to him in his past, because something strange happened to him when he was younger, and he's not sure how it's connected to Soltech, but he thinks it is. And then you have another group called the Knights of Hanoi that want to destroy all of the AI, because they're like, the AI are evil and will lead to the end of humanity. We have to destroy them. And that's pretty much like the safest kind of like summary of like the general thing.
Fantastic
of
rundown.
Thank
Without
you.
spoiling.
Yeah, that was good.
Thank you.
Yeah, you filled us right on in.
Right on. Yeah, hit the nail right on the head, man.
And the thing about it is that I don't want to talk too much about like season 2 and beyond, because
right
now
of course.
it's currently airing on Pluto TV.
Yep.
They're like midway through season 1, so I just I don't want to talk too much about spoilers. So
of course.
Yeah, so I've already seen most of that, and so I enjoy my Yu-Gi-Oh subbed, and really it's because when I was a kid and we watched the 4Kids version, when you later on find out, hey man, if you go back and watch that Japanese sub, there's some stuff going on.
It hit harder.
You wouldn't even pick up. I mean, it's real. Like it's just life or
they was
death.
fighting people. Hey,
It's more than a game.
Hey, Bandit Keith pulled out the gun on
Bandit Keith pulled out
I remember
the gun
everybody
on
in school was talking about that dude when it broke. People were like, dude, this guy had a gun.
well, definitely check out the manga, because the manga
for sure. Yeah,
oh man, it's even more hardcore. Like definitely like the duel between Yami, Marek, and Mai in the manga.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's probably my
crazy.
favorite duel, just for how crazy it is in the manga. But anyway, go ahead.
It's crazy how in the manga, because before the duel monsters thing even started, like with 4Kids, we went straight to the duel monsters, whereas in the manga, it showed us like how dark and how
you have this whole backstory.
Yeah, how because like Yami, like he was killing people.
Yeah.
Like it's no way they could show that to us as kids.
Well, they kind of covered that a little bit in Forbidden Memories. Like they would make mention of this pharaoh was a dictator, like leader type thing.
Yeah.
Like
I love Forbidden Memories.
Oh god, it's
and
so
Duelists
good.
of the Roses.
Yeah, Duelists of the
Hold on.
Roses was so good.
Forbidden Memories, that was the PS1 game.
That's
right?
the PlayStation 1. And
Oh yeah, that was
Didn't it
such a big game.
come with a Red Eyes Black Dragon?
I think it came with Metal Morph and Red Eyes Black Metal Dragon.
There we go. Yeah, because I still have those cards somewhere, but I wish that I would have never let somebody borrow that game. I was dumb for that, man.
Oh,
very dumb, because it's pretty much it's never gonna get a port over.
Of course.
And for
That game was classic, man.
well, for guys like me who got the hookup on the computer, you know what I mean?
I don't know
it's
what
still-
you mean.
So
Yeah.
Trav, could you get something like that on Steam?
No, you'll never get it. They're never going
Don't
to.
tell me what I'll never
get
get,
it,
Trav.
never.
I don't get it.
No. I mean,
You looked me right in my eyes
I
and
mean,
told me I'd never
I mean,
get it.
I mean,
Challenge accepted, sir.
a company's never going to take the money to distribute it in the masses to make it easily
I
accessible.
got something for you.
I
I'm
get what
getting it
you're
straight from
saying.
Egypt.
just like that Yu Yu Hakusho OVA. It's never gonna get.
Yeah, it's never
remade
going to
again.
come over here, right?
Oh, I'll
No,
accept
I mean,
that
it's-
challenge too.
I mean,
I
no,
hope-
it's over here. It's just
I
that-
hope they dub. I hope Funimation does get the ability to dub the Yu Hakusho movie. 'Cause
yeah,
it's
that
very
what was it?
enjoyable.
Poltergeist Report. It was a good movie.
Yeah, the dub,
Wasn't that
forget-
good. It
yeah,
was
they
not.
they
It
called
wasn't.
they called it Poltergeist Report. The actual Japanese name of that movie is Fires of the Netherworld. I think. is what
Oh,
it's
see,
called.
I never knew that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Look, bro.
Yeah.
So,
And you know what's crazy?
Mhm.
I don't think any of us knew you were this much of a,
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
a-
Go ahead and say it, Trav.
Kinda nerd.
Say it. He's one of us.
yeah.
He's one of. No, but I mean,
Well, you never know. Just because you voice act and do cartoons doesn't mean you're like deep into it and enthralled.
Yeah.
in it, you
I
know
get what
I
you're saying.
mean? So
Mhm.
Yeah.
I get what
Yeah.
you're saying. So I wanted to take a little trip back because I know earlier you had mentioned that you had your Pokemon with you, and
Yeah.
me, Trav, and D, like I had did a photo edit for us where if we were in the Pokemon world, who our 6 Pokemon would be. So if you were a Pokemon trainer in the Pokemon world, what would your 6 Pokemon be?
I mean, basically, the ones that I actually use are probably the ones that I would have with me. I can definitely tell you, Charizard, who can.
I knew you were gonna say
Mega
it. I knew you were
know,
gonna say.
I
I saw your
know.
tweet earlier.
Ah, yes, right.
I chose Charmander too.
Yep.
Yes.
And I still got that original Charmander right here.
Nice.
But of course, I couldn't take him with me into the future. So what I did is that on yellow version, I basically just sort of like restarted that Game Boy collection and sent them forward. But definitely, it would be Mega Charizard X specifically.
right.
Yeah, I
Uh,
agree.
Greninja, because he's my favorite. He's probably like one of my favorite Pokemon that isn't.
So that's my
legendary.
daughter's favorite.
Yeah.
Greninja.
He's
Yeah.
well, she's great. My Greninja's a female, and I named it Mitsuki. But let's see. Okay, if I'm allowed to have a legendary, then it would probably be Lugia, because he's
Mhm.
definitely my #1 favorite Pokemon.
Yeah. So that Pokemon
Uh,
2000.
Right? Yeah.
The best Pokemon movie. I don't care what anybody says. I love the original, but Pokemon 2000 is the best Pokemon movie. of all.
2000 made an impression on me because
That theme
my
song?
dad went to an import store that was near him when I was growing up, and he got me this.
Oh
Man,
my
this
god,
dude-
that's
hey, bro.
badass.
Okay,
That's
I'll
sick.
say, Danny, I'm gonna let you know right now. Like, you're our first guest that we've had up here that has had like
Oh,
all
that's
the
fire.
props, had all of the things that you collected over the years, and that's really awesome. Could you put that up on the screen, like fully up on the screen, so that way everybody will be able to see it?
Yeah,
That's
that's
awesome.
That's
I've never seen that before.
Go ahead, Trav. Say it.
What
Say
is
it, Trav.
That's fire. That's fire.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
That's
So
fire.
basically, I think when I read about it correctly, this was like a guidebook or summary book of like for the movie that was released in Japanese theaters, right?
Slide it back just a little bit.
Oh, sure, no problem.
Yep, there you go.
And it gives like a
Jesus.
summary of the
That's
movie.
sick.
It gives some backstory on the characters and stuff. Obviously, I don't really know Japanese, but from what I
Right.
read about it, that's what it is. And of course, it came with this.
Lugia.
Oh,
the
that's
ancient-
sick.
I still got
we that
mine.
classic.
Yeah.
I still have my ancient Mew card, man. It's
What a
crazy
good
that
moment when you went to the theater and got that.
Yeah,
Such a
like I think I want to
sweet
say I got
moment.
2 of them.
Yeah, I went with me and my friends, and they gave each of us like 3, and it was like, what?
Jeez, they didn't know the value of it.
No, well, they didn't know what
Giving
the
out
value of it
gold.
was going to be in 20 some years.
Cheers. Yeah.
In the future.
But yeah, no. So I am so sorry. Right? So the team, Mega Charizard X Greninja, Lugia, right? Because I'm allowed 1 legendary,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
That's fine.
Let
Uh-oh.
me see. Oh boy, Superior, Contrary, with Focus Sash,
Okay.
and I love that. And Porygon Z, I love Porygon. I love its final form, Porygon Z. And then the last one would be Imposter Ditto. And
That's
in the Gen 6 and 7 like matches that I would play,
Mm.
I would always use Imposter Ditto, and people would get I could tell, I could feel their seething hatred from the other side because they would use legendaries, and I would
Yeah.
a mega, and
Yeah.
I would send out Imposter Ditto. And here's the crazy part in the game: I could have Mega Charizard in play, and if I
Yeah.
put out Imposter Ditto and he copies their Mega, I got 2 Megas.
Yeah.
And the
Hey,
game doesn't fix that, so it's awesome. It's great.
Hey, it's just like playing like a Dragon Ball Z game with somebody. and you use Captain Ginyu, and then you let them beat you up the entire time, and you hit them with that body switch. I'll say like I think it was the Tenkaichi games that I wasn't a fan of the body switch on that, because when he would do it, he would actually do the body switch with the characters that he switched bodies with in the anime or in the series. Whereas I was more of the traditional one, where it's like I let the person beat me up the entire time, especially online. Let them beat you up, take their body, and then they would rage quit.
So Tenkaichi really had it that you could only body swap with like Goku or.
Yep.
And
Wow.
that's because of guys like him. They got so much complaints that they fixed it in the Tenkaichi series, which then of course is regarded as Mia Dragon Ball Z series.
No, people love the Tenkaichi series, man.
Nobody I know likes it.
I got a lot of friends that love it.
Yeah, well, Trav, that's your circle, friend. Like,
and my
there are a lot
circle
of
of
people,
hatred.
Yeah, there are a lot of people that love that game. Like, I mean, like it's fun for what it is, but it's no Budokai.
No, it's definitely no Budokai.
You know?
Oh no.
So, Danny, go ahead, D.
No. Go ahead.
Okay, so I was just going to keep it on the Pokemon train.
Well, hold on. I still want to go finish up some Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
well,
we're
let me
here.
ask my
Conversation
question.
before we
Let
move
me
on
ask
to
my
Pokemon.
question. You can ask yours. All right, Trail?
Okay.
Oh man.
All right. So, how did you feel about Detective Pikachu?
I liked it.
I liked it too.
When I went to the theater, I was like, "Oh my god, it's Pokemon live action."
Yeah, I guess.
They call it live action, but it's not.
Okay, but like live action with really good CGI, and I liked it a lot. I was actually pleasantly surprised that they brought in like Mewtwo, and that the story.
Yeah.
Oh, the story was fantastic.
Yeah, and
Story was
I
really
like
good, actually.
and I liked that Mewtwo's backstory was sort of like consistent with what it normally is. They didn't try to like, rewrite it. Like, it almost felt like the movie could have taken place in, how do I say, the anime world, but at least like in the game world. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
I can see that.
right. You can play the video games and then you play, and then you watch Detective Pikachu, and it's like, oh, this all kind of fits together. So like, I like that a lot, and I love that they definitely showed the wide array of different Pokemon. I think the Pokemon Company was pretty heavily involved in the production of it, so they did a great job making sure that it represented everything about the series, and I liked it a lot. I got my Detective Pikachu card from it somewhere, but yeah.
I thought you was about to pull it up, man. It's like and I'm gonna call you Bag and Sagging Larry, man, because it just seems like you just keep on pulling something.
There it is.
There it is, right there. Yeah, I wish I would have got one. Like, I went to go see the movie when it came out, and I didn't get anything.
Oh man,
because they knew about you. They knew
about it. Yeah, they knew it. Yeah, thank you,
Trav. I guess in certain movie theaters, they was just like, no, these are for kids only.
You know what they was like? It was like this inside smudge, mother.
They saw that smudge coming.
I gotta tell you, I went with a lady friend of mine to go see Detective Pikachu, and when we went to the theater, like, you know, we handed the ticket and everything, and it's like, enjoy the movie, and I'm like, where are my cards? And they're like, oh, you want the? I'm like, yeah. And they're like, oh, yeah, here you go. All right. And I'm like, thank you very much. So,
yeah, I just recently, you know, they got the McDonald's 25-year promo cards, and you know, your boy rolled up trying to get the cards, right? But they got a lockdown on them, and
really?
I played it off. You know what I mean? I was like, my kids, man, they, you know. They feeded for him, but the reality is your boy was feeding for him.
You sit here using kids to get Pokemon cards, man.
Do you want? Trav, did you get them?
Yeah, did you?
I had to buy. I have to keep buying. You can only buy. They won't sell them to you outright like a regular McDonald's toy because why? I don't know. Yeah. And then you got to buy Happy Meals, and now most places limit you to 4 Happy Meals per order.
Yeah, because people were racking up.
Nice.
Yeah,
nice.
But I mean, dude, they shouldn't be worth anything. It's a McDonald's promo.
It's a promotional. Yeah. Well, the thing is, it's like they're not worth anything, but they're not worth anything now.
Now
they are. They are. The Hollow Pikachu is worth $70 right now, bro.
Well, think about and I'm mad that my grandma threw these away. But remember when Burger King had the gold Pokemon cards, the metal ones? My grandma
I still have a couple.
Threw them away.
Mewtwo and Togepi.
Yeah.
Yep. So our shop that sponsors us, Golden Ink Tattoo, they have them in the case at the tattoo shop.
Yeah, hey, and since you mentioned Golden Ink Tattoo, like we say in the intro, if you go up in there and you mention leveling up Banks, you will get 10% off your tattoo. Just tell them that we sent you.
Very cool, man. Very nice. Cross
Nice
promotion.
plug.
Oh,
Nice plug.
really quick. Can I show you my favorite Pokemon card?
Dude.
Of
Can
course.
we guess? Can we guess before you show
Oh
it?
yeah,
to us?
yeah, yeah.
Sure.
That's a good one.
Yeah, let's guess. Give us a type.
it's
What
a
type
psychic.
is it?
Hold on, no.
Oh, okay.
I'm just gonna go ahead and say it's holographic Charizard.
No.
Ah,
I do
See,
have
thanks.
that one, but
I was
We
gonna
need to-
take. I was
Dude,
gonna
his
take a
favorite
stab.
could be anything.
I was gonna take a
Okay.
stab and say Mega Charizard EX,
no.
but now I'm
I-
not thinking that's it.
No, this is definitely from the old
Is-
days. It's
come on, D. It's up to
Oh,
you.
it's got to be Alakazam.
And one. Ooh. The infamous Alakazam.
Oh, it must be Mewtwo or Mew. It's got to be
It's
one of them
close.
two then.
Is it
If
Michael?
it's not
Kadabra?
Alakazam,
Kadabra?
ooh.
Oh,
Is it-
he was close. Derek.
No,
Derek
it's got to be
close.
Metal.
Is it Michael?
Mecha? Is it Mecha? Did they have a card for that?
Nah, he said Gen
What
1.
is it? Mecha Mewtwo? Metal Mewtwo?
Gen
No,
one.
he
one.
said you were close when he said Alakazam.
No,
Uh,
Mewtwo and Mew.
Oh,
Mewtwo and Mew. What's close to that, Trav?
It's
Uh,
a rare version of one of those cards.
what?
Oh, is it the
Is
ancient
it
Mew?
the Is it the shadowless Mewtwo?
No. Is it the Mewtwo that has the like the metal armor on?
Nope.
Dang.
No, that's what I said.
You ready?
Yeah, let's do
He's got me.
The
got me.
anticipation's killing me. Oh yeah, I remember.
It's the Mew that they gave
Oh.
away with the soundtrack in Japan.
Yeah, that's crazy.
How much is that? How much is that card
fire.
worth?
Or
Too much.
I got
A
it
lot.
quite a while ago, but
Yeah, that card's what? 20, at least 20 years
oh, yeah,
old, right?
absolutely, if not older.
Yeah, I was about to say that thing's.
Oh yeah, easily older because they're celebrating 25, so it's got to
Yeah.
be 24.
Exactly.
Years older, so yeah.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, since
That was
'cause
close.
I saw Danny. Well, you know what, Trav, go ahead and ask your question because I was about to
Okay.
ask another.
No, I just
Pokemon
want to
one.
cycle back to it. So again, I like to watch a lot of my Yu-Gi-Oh and sub,
Mhm.
and when I saw that you were, they just call him the Shepard, and Kenneth Drayden is his name. They call him the Shepard because he's a bounty hunter, but in Japan they call him the Blood Shepherd, and this dude is a savage.
Mm.
So when I found
I
out
heard that.
that you voiced him, I was like, oh man, that's wild. I haven't seen a lot of the new English dub,
Mhm.
but I was able to see a couple stuff on Netflix because I don't have Pluto.
Mhm.
But yeah, I just want to hear more about the process of doing that. And I'm assuming you went ahead and watched some of the subs. I'm assuming they would give you material so you can really see what this character is about and get his story. And because he has a lot of backstory to him, like he's not some random character. Like he's got a whole story, and that's pretty. It's a tearjerker story that the guy's got.
Yep.
So
I contractually speaking, I'm not sure how much I can go into about what they give you and all that kind of stuff. But at the very least, I'm comfortable saying that they definitely sat me down and told me, yeah, there's a saga with this character, and it's like,
Yeah.
okay. So,
Nice.
so that was pretty. I was like, okay, all right, because I didn't know when I was trying out. I mean, I was generally familiar with the first season of Vrains, but I didn't really know too much about beyond that. So
Mhm.
when I got cast as this character and they let me know, oh, there's stuff with this guy, it's like, okay. And as for making up the voice for him and all that, I really was trying to hone in on his sort of intimidation kind of factor. I really wanted to make sure that he was a character that would strike fear into the hearts of his enemies, and really just kind of lean into that really hard, but also make sure that he could emote, and he's not gonna crack jokes or anything, but he's
Right.
definitely the type of character that will be sarcastic and will be dismissive and stuff like that of his opponent. So that's about as much as I'm comfortable saying. Since
Okay.
it hasn't
Yeah.
aired yet, but yeah, so
I'm just excited to see it, man, because I say that Vrains is the best Yu-Gi-Oh series since the original.
oh, thank you.
Oh my
Thank
dude,
you.
I mean, the story is in depth. I don't know anything about the manga or anything like that,
Mhm.
but I know how in depth the story is and the characters are. It's not. Some of the Yu-Gi-Oh felt like it was just there to sell cards. I
Right,
feel like
well-
this is more than that.
I definitely I'm so sorry. I definitely I even spoke with our director Darren about just how awesome I thought the story was for Vrains, because I mean, like as it is, we've finished recording Vrains,
Right.
so I got to really sit down with them and just be like, oh my god, like the story, wow, But that's definitely a huge highlight for American fans as they're watching it. This is definitely something that's very the narrative is really crucial. I mean, it's the characterization. There's happy moments, there's heartbreaking moments. It really goes the full gambit, and it definitely is. I definitely get the impression that it was a passion project of just like, yeah, this is something that a story that they wanted to tell, and it's a great one. So I encourage everyone to definitely check it out on Pluto TV. It's awesome. That's all I can say. And I've been watching since the original, and I love all the Yu-Gi-Oh shows, but I can definitely say Vrains is very unique and special in its story. It's really
agree.
cool.
So like, how does it feel, being a kid watching Yu-Gi-Oh and now being a part of Yu-Gi-Oh? Like,
wild.
I would
There he is, right there.
Yeah, I see the grin. I see. Like, I'll let you ask Yu-Gi-Oh first, and then Pokemon. Like, how does it feel?
So and it did happen in that order. First it was Yu-Gi-Oh, and then it was Pokemon, and basically Yu-Gi-Oh. Okay, so when I first started taking classes at Actors Connection, and I saw that Darren Dunstan could show up as a guest teacher and stuff like that, I was like, oh my god, can you imagine if I met him and if I could try out for Yu-Gi-Oh, if I got on Yu-Gi-Oh? Oh, that's crazy. But like, no, just keep it in check, Danny. So it was just like, starting with commercial, and then eventually over time, and then other different types of voice acting types, and then eventually getting to character acting. And then by that time I started taking classes with Darren, and he really liked my stuff. But the point for that is just that it was such like a crazy like fantasy that I was like, there's no way. Like, just getting the chance to meet him is wonderful. And have him critique my work and all that kind of stuff. But then eventually when it was like, hey, would you want to audition for Yu-Gi-Oh? I'm like, yeah. And it was like, it was great. And I did my auditioning. And when I got the Shepard audition, and I got back, you landed the part. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. So
that's wild.
I wasn't sure how big of a character he was, so I thought, oh, maybe he's like a villain of the week or whatever. Like, it's okay, this is fun. But then I did my research, and then I'm like, oh my god, he's like legitimately part of
he's a significant character. The whole thing.
And I was like, oh my god. So it was pretty surreal. It didn't really register with me until I played, and I keep going back to this, Legacy of the Duelist on the Switch, where I dueled myself.
That's sick.
Well, and then we'll get into that too when we talk about Pokemon, and we're talking about you possibly dueling yourself too in that game, too, having a Pokemon battle. But I do want
to, but dueling myself, I was like,
yeah, it's great.
I'm part of Yu-Gi-Oh history. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I do have a question though before we move on from that.
Yeah.
For those that don't know, Darren Dunstan does
Pegasus.
Pegasus.
Yeah.
So I do, and of course, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle freak that I am, he also plays Splinter.
That's right.
In the 2003 series.
I love the 2003 TMNT.
The greatest TMNT cartoon series of all time.
I agree.
But did you ever get him? Did you mess with him? Did get a little Kaiba boy or anything like that?
No, but I was in a class where somebody asked him if he could do that, and he
he did it. Yeah,
just really quick, and we all got a laugh out of it. And he's like, "That'll be $20." We got a laugh out of that. Yeah. He was, of course, he was kidding. It was fun. It was fun.
I know.
That's amazing. That is amazing.
I definitely know it's one of those things where it's like a respect thing, where it's just like, it's like you have to be professional, even though it's like you grew up being a fan. It's just like if you were like, I'm a wrestler, for example, right? It's like I wouldn't go up to Ric Flair and be like, "Hey, can you just say what?"
Oh, I thought you was about to bring up my childhood trauma story.
No. What the Ric Flair?
Remember I met him at an autograph sign-in, and I looked at him and I said, "Woo!" And he looked at me and said, "Nice try, kid."
I wasn't gonna say.
Just totally.
He ruined it. Yeah, he ruined it.
I wasn't gonna say that,
bro. I was 10.
I'm just saying, like, if I was in the locker room with Ric Flair, I wouldn't go up to him and be like, "Hey, can you just say woo real quick?" You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, you know, I would ask him to slap his chest. Like I would tell him to do that, but yeah, I mean, it's just a professional thing where it's like, you know, hey, if I can get a picture here or there, I'd appreciate that. But like, I wouldn't get them out of their comfort zone and ask them could they do something. Because I mean, you know how somebody like Jaleel White, for example, he doesn't like being called Urkel anymore.
Right, yeah.
So
definitely, when you're trying to get to know them as a professional and all that kind of stuff, it's so important. And I mean, like, it doesn't matter whether you're a fan or not. You want to stay professional, even if you're meeting someone. Let's say that you're not a fan of maybe the stuff that they've done, but you know that they do stuff and all that kind of stuff. You still want to just treat them professionally and all that kind of stuff, because you want them to get to know your abilities and your talent. You don't want them to like just, I mean, and you know, like, honestly, you know, at some point when you get to know them, it's fine to be like, oh my God, I love your work as Pegasus or whoever. Like, you know, it's all good. But I'll just mention, I waited to let them know about my fanboyness when we got to Comic-Con and they had the Yu-Gi-Oh Museum, and I got signatures from some of the past cast members.
That's insane.
Including Darren. He signed my Thousand Eyes Restrict, which I seem to have misplaced.
Oh, that is badass,
but
right?
He signed that.
The only thing better would have been able for him to sign like a Toon World,
right,
book or something. You know what I mean?
I figured like everybody would have him sign Toon World. So
Like, I would honestly, I wouldn't have thought to, you know, sign the Thousand Eyes Restrict. So good call.
Yeah. But yeah.
D.
Oh yeah. Okay, so Danny, did you kind of came into this by I guess chance, like doing voice acting? Did you, now when you got in and started doing your research, were there any people that you took inspiration from in any capacity?
I would say people I took inspiration from,
or anybody's techniques that you even studied. I'll take that answer.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Well, basically, for my base acting ability, I definitely went with the Sanford Meisner technique, which is that, you know, when you're acting, you're living truthfully under imaginary circumstances. So you try to bring your most real kind of like self to what you're doing and a sense of realism to it, and sort of like the awareness bubble, so that, you know, like if you're acting on stage or for television, you know, it's just you and the other person and you're not aware of the other things that are happening around you. This space is a creative but real place, a place where your emotions are real. That was my technique with acting. I mean, specifically when I got to college and everything. But another thing that I learned even from when I was younger was like the way that Meryl Streep approaches acting, which is that when she is looking over a character, she tries to find things between herself and the character that she has in common. So that way she sort of makes an agreement with the character of, okay, these are the qualities that we share and these are the qualities I'm going to present. And if you have any negative qualities, I will take them on in the performance, but I agree to portray you in as potentially good a light as possible. Not that you're taking the character and making it something that they shouldn't. It's just that I mean, you know, every character, even villains, think they're the hero of the story.
Right.
So you have to play everyone with a sense of genuine, you know, there has to be a genuineness and a truth to them. And you know, for someone like the Shepard, I mean, as fans will see in the US, he does have a good reason for doing what he's doing. You know, it's still evil, but it's
the anti-hero.
But what he thinks what he's doing is
right.
Exactly. You have to be dedicated to that. Even if you're going to play someone who's fearsome and dark, you know, it's sort of like, okay, but why are they doing that? Are they
you got to own it.
Are they trying to scare someone? If you just try to go for a voice for the sake of being a voice, it's hollow. But if you have more of a reason for why something is the way that it is, if you understand why the character is where they're coming from, and even if the character is a villain of the week and you don't know much, like you're not going to learn much about them, you can come up with a backstory in your head and that can make the performance more nuanced. And then in terms of voice acting, like inspirations, it's really hard not to pick someone like Kevin Conroy. But
I could kind of hear that when you were doing like the dark voice a while ago.
I could hear that. And a lot of the folks in the DC animated universe. And then just you know, like as for anime voice actors, I mean, because I grew up with like Steve Bloom's Spike and you know, Goodness. Bill Bingsley's Jet, like they're two major influences on me.
Yep.
And another one, believe it or not, comes from Digimon. And that would be Derek Stephen Prince and all of the different characters that he played. He could do like anything, and that I just really admired a lot. I mean, everything from the clown monster Piedmon to Vmon to Ken, who's the greatest Digimon character.
Oh, that's my favorite anyway.
Right?
Stingmon?
Yes.
Best Digimon.
Oh,
Best.
So basically, like just the more varied and like more techniques that the voice actors had, the more I like, really respected them and stuff like that. But like, everybody in voice acting industry is definitely entitled to a great deal of respect, because what we do isn't easy. We just make it look easy. So.
Hey.
Most definitely.
And before I hand it back to Banks, one more question. What is the theme of your Yu-Gi-Oh deck? Just in case, I'm in a car shop one day and I see you, I'll be like, I got this guy beat. I'm gonna run back to the car and get my anti-Danny deck.
I'll show you one card, and that should tell you everything you need to know. Is that a magician? Nope, it's Blackluster Soldier.
Oh Lord. Okay.
Chaos.
All right.
It is chaos.
Woo. All right, guys. I got some homework to do, so
well, be grateful you're not my friend, Jen. Jen Silverman. She and I duel a lot, and I have found my new favorite deck, which is Kaijus, and I use her, and she hates me a lot for using Kaijus, so yeah.
Well, I got one more Yu-Gi-Oh question, Banks, since you brought that up. How do you feel about the state of Yu-Gi-Oh and how fast-paced it is, where it's pretty much you're not even competitive unless you have deck 1, 2, or 3, pretty much. And asking that because, we got the new Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's anime that's out, and it's kind of the opposite. The anime revolves around him thinking that the game moves too slow, so he wants to speed it up. And I feel like they made that anime because of the state of the card game itself right now. But what are your feelings on that?
I'm not going to necessarily comment on that, but what I will say is that Konami definitely takes great care to make the game in the way that they best see fit, and they definitely, with the ban list and everything, try to tweak things so that the game is always changing in difference, that it doesn't become too concentrated on a single card. I mean, everybody knows that part. But I like in playing Legacy of the Duelist, which has almost the latest stuff, not quite. I actually really enjoyed it. I really liked having a lot of different decks. I definitely found that the decks that I went up against, like there was all kinds of crazy stuff that I really enjoyed. It was great having like stuff that was from the anime, like Dark Sanctuary be turned into a real card. They tweak the effects and everything a bit, but as for like how fast paced the game is, I mean, I remember back when I was a kid, and I actually really enjoyed like the actual way the game is played, not like those Kingdom rules. I enjoyed that a lot. The game definitely was much slower back then, but I think the speed of it now works really well in terms of the games going fast and being like sort of like knowing what cards combo into what. I mean, now a lot of players know.
There's a lot of comboing
immediately. What combos into what, and I kind of loved that when I
like it too. I just don't like when turn 2 it's over. That's what I mean. That when you start getting into that field.
I understand. I mean, maybe I definitely understand. Maybe I'm sure Konami will see that, and
I don't think they do it intentionally. You know what I mean?
Oh no, of course. I'm sure as they make the cards, it's like, oh, this would be a great card. But then, like, as I'm sure as time goes on, they'll figure out ways to balance things out. But I love a lot of stuff that they got. Boral Sword Dragon. I mean, all of the Boral dragons, really. A lot of the new Link monsters. I mean, I like it a lot. I'm definitely not the type of person where having a lot of aspects of the game is a bad thing. I like it so much. I think there's a lot of people that do. Yu-Gi-Oh! Card game is still one of the top card games.
It's super popular.
Ever. It's like super duper popular. So I mean, like, I think the reason why like they might make an alternative is so that they can cater to the people that want things
Right.
to be more simplistic, and then cater to people that are like us that love the crazy complicated combos and all that kind of stuff. I think they're trying to appeal to as wide a market as they can for that.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
All right, Banks. Pass the
So,
buck.
hey, thank you, sir. So, I have a question for you, and it is going to be 3 choices that I want you to pick from.
Oh no.
Three popular animes that are out right now. One of them is not out right now, which is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Stone Ocean. I just want to throw that out there.
Yeah, we know.
But if what are 3 popular animes that you would like to do voiceover work on?
Without even a thought, Stone Ocean. I don't even.
That's why I said it.
I don't even have to think about it. So and then you want 2 more. My Hero Academia.
That's another good choice.
Stone Ocean. My Hero Academia. Let me think for a minute. What else is out in the market?
So that's what he does. He side swipes shit with this.
And see, I love this because
Never thought about this.
Hey, at least it was
makes our
3
best
instead of 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's getting better, Trav, in some capacity. So
Hey,
give me 10.
Hey, y'all noticed that he didn't say One Piece, so
He's just
One Piece would be wonderful. I'd be happy to work on one.
thank you.
Thank you.
This guy's just out there.
Danny, let me ask you this: what do you like more, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure or One Piece?
Let me ask you this first,
No, let him
Danny.
answer the
Have you
question,
seen
D.
One Piece?
Let him ask him the question.
No, it's got to be a fair question. It's got to be a
I
fair
want to
question.
answer Derek's question first, and then I'll answer Benjamin's. Have I
Ooh, that
seen
means-
One Piece? Only a little bit of it. I watched
Okay.
the original
Okay.
4Kids dub. Then I watched
Okay.
a bit of the Funimation dub.
Right.
Okay.
But it's a massive story. It's fantastic.
Yes, it
But
is.
by the time I started getting into watching One Piece,
Mhm.
I was already in college and then off and
Yep.
running.
Exactly.
And it was the
Thank
same
you.
sort of thing that happened with like Yu-Gi-Oh! I would have loved to have kept watching Zexal and Arc 5. I definitely want to go back and rewatch them since I know they're available on Netflix and everything. But but with One Piece, one of my good friends, Eric Yoshida, he is super in it right now. Like he's telling me all his updates about it, and the more he tells me about it, like with the world building, the more I'm like, oh my gosh, like I never imagined it was like the way that it was. There's also a YouTuber named Teching 101 who does videos on One Piece and the world and all that, and I check it out and I'm like, oh my god, like it says, like one thing that I love like about Bleach is that in a lot of the novels they talk about like the origin of the Soul Society and the world, and I'm like, oh my god, such incredible world building. Then I listen to One Piece's world building and I'm like, oh my god, like it's really impressive, really good stuff.
Now you can answer. Go ahead, answer Benjamin.
Danny, I just want to say, you know, that was very kind of you to let him down easy. One Piece.
This guy.
That was very.
That was a lot of script, Banks. That was impossible. Go ahead and answer this guy.
Hold on,
Banks
ain't lying though, man. This man was a real professional.
He was.
Now go ahead and tell him why you like JoJo more.
I do like JoJo better. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
the reason I like JoJo better, it's not because of the world building yet, because I've read a bit of the manga, a bit forward of what's to come, and it's like, oh my gosh. But basically, with JoJo, I think it reminds me a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! In a way, in that it started off in this one kind of direction with the Hamon and everything, and then it sort of naturally evolved into the stand thing, and much like how Duel Monsters took over what Yu-Gi-Oh! Story was about because of like, you know, the Duel Monsters card game becoming so popular with the audience that's like, okay, then this is what the story's going to be. I think the similar thing happened with stands, but they made it work in such a natural way. And beyond that, Araki was so good about, like, the stand power is so insane. Like, you can do anything from a narrative perspective with that. And each individual part, it's sort of like with Digimon or Power Rangers, where they have a completely different cast and it never feels stale or old, which is not to say that One Piece or Bleach or any of them with long running stories feel that way. But I grew up like watching Power Rangers and seeing different teams and different groups and all that kind of stuff. So it brings back that kind of feeling of like, oh, here's these different teams and here's how they handle things and stuff like that. And each of them brings their own power sets and their own unique circumstances to the plot. So I like that just a little bit more, but I respect One Piece for the huge like saga that it's telling. And
for sure.
You gotta believe that when it's getting, because I believe Oda said that he's like halfway through One Piece at this point.
It's never going to end,
right? But like when it eventually does at some point, you gotta believe I'm gonna be right there watching, because like even with Naruto's not my favorite of my shonen anime, but I like it and respect it a lot, and I also like its world building a lot. But you know, with the manga and the anime, I was there to see the end, because I was like, wow, you know, and it was really impressive. But JoJo, I mean, I go back and I rewatch JoJo a lot. I just really enjoy it. I really do. I'm sorry.
I love this man. I love this man.
Way to go.
Here's the thing though about JoJo. It's either you love it or you hate it. It's one of those kind of thing. It's where it's got this fan base that is so loyal and they love it. And then there's other guys who just can't get into it and they can't stand that it's so popular. And they're like, dude, how are people liking this?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Imagine that.
That's how One Piece is though.
Danny, they're slowly getting into it. JoJo is slowly taking it.
Hey, Rohan's that dude, bro.
Yeah, exactly. Rohan's sweet.
Rohan's
we just did the Rohan review, and it's funny because D was working out the other day, and on his workout playlist, JoJo came out. And this is the first time it's ever come, and I was just like, it's because like y'all are slowly but surely
vibing with the JoJo, and you know, I'll definitely tell you. I started watching part 1 and I kind of like dropped it a little bit because
that's why I hated it.
So then my friends were keeping up with it and they're like, Danny, do you like Yu Yu Hakusho? I'm like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you like like Indiana Jones and stuff? I'm like, yeah. Okay. The beginning of part 2 is gonna start airing on Toonami. Watch it. I'm like, okay. And then like Joseph is my man crush. So like Joseph Joestar, you know, I just can't get enough of him. Yeah. And then you get to Jotaro and I'm like, I'm done. I'm done. This is part of my anime consumption now.
Yeah, you gotta watch it. You gotta watch it. Just the music and all of that stuff. It's crazy that you say that Joseph is your favorite. Mine is Josuke, his son. So
I love Josuke too, but like Joseph is like, he's such a scumbag that I kind of love it.
Yeah, man. He's the polar opposite of Jonathan.
Exactly.
Like he's everything that Jonathan is not, and he's a scumbag for real. But yeah, Josuke, like I love him, but it's crazy that he's the only Joestar that, spoiler alert, that never defeated the main villain. And D and Trav, they don't know who the main villain is in part 4 because I do really want them to watch part 4 since they love Rohan so much.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Right.
I love really the way they go about the villain in part 4. That's all I'll say. It's very different than what you might expect. You know, you're going to be very surprised. Yeah. No. You know, for Araki, it was such a huge risk to go from the very like paragon of good that Jonathan was to Joseph, who's a scumbag, but a likable, charming one.
Yeah,
and just you know, he really it was a bold move, but one that obviously paid off for him to change protagonists like that. And it's funny because then in my mind, I think that Konami with Yu-Gi-Oh took that same kind of risk with GX and 5Ds, and it paid off because everybody loves each of the different series, and they can develop each set of protagonists with their own sort of things instead of trying to continue one story forever and ever. But they can bring back the old protagonists whenever they want, like Dark Side Dimensions. Right. So it's I honestly feel that like the generational kind of thing is like the ideal way of handling a long running series. But that's my because Pokemon does a fantastic.
I was about to say, and then you roll right on into Ash, who's been 10 for 25 years.
But then and then in that sense, that makes it that character is legendary then. I mean, like he's ubiquitous across the world, you know. I mean,
everybody knows who Ash is.
Well, remember they were throwing around the rumor that when before Journeys became a thing and it was called Journeys and it was out, that Ash was, you know, gonna walk out and like he wanted, you know, he had his hurrah moment that he was gonna walk out and leave. And it wasn't until they released the new Sword and Shield sets that people are like, okay, maybe Ash is sticking around.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember, you know, at that time I knew nothing, so I was like, are they?
Yeah.
So, you know, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that was the only question I have for you. I mean, I appreciate the JoJo love. Whenever we can get some JoJo love up here, I appreciate it, because most of the times it's like Daniel going into the lion's den with these guys, and
nah, because you thirsty for that JoJo.
See, I am Daniel, so I can go.
Hey, there you
go.
go. Hey,
yes.
Hey, we got to bring you back, man. We definitely got to bring you back.
Yeah.
But,
Lord.
But hey,
Killed
guys,
it.
did y'all have any other questions or?
Yeah,
I do have one final question.
Okay.
Which do you prefer the voice acting job for, and a protagonist or an antagonist? Which do you feel? Which one drives you more? Like you said, you want to feel like you can get into it and relate to them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean.
So basically, this is really interesting because the character of Raihan, and especially as you see more episodes with him.
Yep.
I just feel like he's like a lot like me personally, and even some of our castmates were like, yeah, you know, like that know me and stuff. So for Raihan, it's very easy for me to just go straight to him. The Shepard is interesting because I have to really kind of get into a certain headspace with him. I always have to be mindful of his wound, which we're not going to talk about, but you know, be mindful of where he's coming from and all that kind of stuff. And I really enjoyed that process. I would have to say that I probably enjoy doing the villains a little bit more, but that isn't to be dismissive of playing the heroes.
Yeah,
being a good character like Raihan, it's so wonderful playing him, and just just that he's like a good guy. But but doing the Shepard is so much fun. And for US fans, when he comes on and you see where his story goes, woo.
Yeah,
it's definitely it was one heck of a first outing for me as a character voice actor. That's all I'll say. And just
that whole Yu-Gi-Oh series, man, is incredible storytelling.
Yeah, it really is
incredible storytelling,
and definitely that's all I can say for now. But when I come back, hopefully then they'll about the Shepard, and then I can talk a little bit more about my thoughts on his story, because it's really great.
No, that's definitely going down. But so I'm gonna have my last question.
Please.
Coming in to do a Pokemon and being Raihan, you know, you got Leon, who of course he's a legend. He looks at you as like his rival, his equal. You gained his respect. Also, you're a gym leader.
Yeah.
You got to play the role of a gym leader.
Yeah, sick.
And the final gym leader, right? Is it? He's the final badge.
He sure is. He's
in
the Galar,
so you're the Giovanni of the Galar region. You know what I mean?
That's not lost on me. Yep.
That's crazy. That's just, and you're in, the Masters 8. You're ranked 7th in the Masters 8. So
That's
it's
right.
Like, for Pokemon fans, the character you got is pretty much. It don't get much better.
I mean, pretty much all my friends that grew up watching Pokemon with me pretty much were like, "You got one of the best characters in the whole show," and I'm like, "Oh, thank you." And I'm so grateful for that. It definitely was. I feel like just truly a blessing, and that's why I take the work that I do with them. Like, I love it so much, but I take it seriously in that. Yeah, no, I'm doing this, and I'm a team player. So whatever you need me to do, I do it. And
you have an incredible voice, dude. Like,
man,
criminal. And everybody knows I'm not easy to please with the English dubs, as Banks will tell you.
We know.
Yeah, they, when they said you just got a good voice, you just got to, some guys just have the voice to do it, and you got the voice, man. So that's awesome.
So much. And I just want to give a shout out really quick, because you mentioned Leon. Definitely want to shout out Alejandro Saab, who plays Leon, and he and I are always chatting. He's an awesome dude. So
that's awesome.
I just want to shout him out. So yeah.
Good stuff, man. Well, hey, Danny, thank you for joining us on today's episode. It was
why you look like Giovanni sitting at that desk.
Who, me?
Trying to bring out the Persian.
Where's the pearl? Look at me.
Oh, wait a minute. Fun fact. this doesn't give anything away, but basically when I before I got cast as Raihan, I beat him in the game and all that kind of stuff. So you know, and then shortly after I get the audition, I'm like, oh, no way. And then when I get it, I'm like, oh my god. So I actually went back and replayed on a different save file, sword version, just so I could read all of his lines and like have fun. Like,
That's crazy.
That's pretty sweet. That's a great idea.
So, yeah, so little fun fact. But yeah,
so, awesome. Yeah. Hey, thanks for dropping that little tidbit of information at the end. Yeah. Danny, we appreciate you coming on and joining us, and now I'm becoming part of the Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks family. You know, hey, if you love JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, you're my brother, man. That's all I'm gonna say.
Right back at you.
This guy.
So, hey, it's not too often that we have guests come up here and they're just like, I love JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. It's not too often. Most of the time they're on.
And that's all you do is bring on guests that love JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
But most of the time, you know, we bring on guests that love One Piece, but there's only a few guests that we've had up here that love JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Well, that goes to show you.
Yep.
Hey, hush your mouth. So, with that being said, Danny, thank you again for joining us. Tell everybody in social media land where they can find you at.
You can find me at Danny Kramer VO on Twitter. Hold on, I'm gonna make sure. Because I'm really dumb with social media. Yeah, Danny Kramer VO. This is what it looks like, so you can be absolutely certain. And then on Instagram, I am Danny Shack 27. And Danny Shack is a nickname that my friends gave me in college, and it just stuck with me. This is me on Instagram. So that's how you can find me. And I make lots of fun posts, memes, PG-rated memes. And yeah, you know, just fun stuff. So feel free to follow me if you want some of that.
Ooh, hey, we hope nothing but the best for you in your career.
Definitely.
Man. You know, you're a nice guy and you're funny. You love JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. You're not really...
But most importantly, you got cool toys.
Yeah, you got cool toys.
You got one heck of a collection.
You bag and sag and Danny. Hey man, I'm on this like this. Hey Trav, that has to be the name of the episode because this
bag and sag and Danny Shack, baby.
Hey bro, he kept on pulling stuff. I was just
man.
But hey,
Mary Poppins just pulling stuff out the bag.
Pulling stuff out. So yeah, Danny, thank you again for joining us. And with that being said, D, take it away. Tell them where they can find you at in social media land.
That's gonna be rebellious _D23 at Instagram.com. Trav?
That's right. You can find me. The only place to find me on Instagram at ZK Audio, or you can follow me on Twitch as well. And Banks?
You can follow me, your hero, Benjamin Banks, at KingBenji_Banks on Twitter and Instagram. You can look me up on Facebook by typing in Benjamin Banks. I should be the first person to pop up. If not, I need to contact Mr. Zuckerberg. Make sure you follow all of the Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks social media accounts at Leveling Up Banks. That's on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Make sure that you like this video. You get in the comment section so that way that you can talk about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure with us, Pokemon, and Yu-Gi-Oh! And make sure that you subscribe to the channel and you hit that bell button so that way you're always notified whenever we have new videos. If you're feeling generous and would love to donate to us, we have a Patreon at Leveling Up Banks. And D, I'll let you say this part because you always like to point at the bottom of the screen.
Podcast in the description.
There you go, baby. Well, we drop new podcast episodes every Tuesday, and the video interview is up on Friday. So again, thank you for watching this video. Thank you for listening to this episode, and we'll see you next week. Make sure you always keep those pinkies up and drink plenty of water and watch JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Take care, everybody.
Be sure to smash that like button if you enjoyed this video and get notified every time we upload a new one by subscribing and ticking the bell icon. You can also listen to the full episode by searching for Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks on your favorite podcast app. If you'd like to help support more great content like this, be sure to check us out on Patreon. We'll have the link posted in the description below. Thanks for listening, and see you on the next episode of Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks.